well, it's almost spring, and with spring comes new life. So I thought that we would do a little talk today on some of the bird's nests you might see this spring, and some of the noises you might hear this spring. And we're gonna start out with Iowa's state bird. Iowa's state bird is the American goldfinch, and you can hear them make this sound. So if you hear that sound, that's most likely an American goldfinch, and this is Iowa's state bird. Some fun facts about this specific bird is mostly a seed eater. It can be found climbing around on plants such as thistles, but sometimes you see it eating insects as well. In their nests, which we'll talk about, they usually lay 4 to 6 eggs, but it can be 2 to 7 eggs as well. And their nests are usually not found until July or August. So this you probably won't see in the spring unless if you see one from last year out. So they'll start nesting and laying eggs in July and August. But their nests are really awesome. They're really tightly woven. They're so tightly woven that sometimes when it rains, it ends up holding water in it instead of letting it drain through, because they are so good at weaving things together. And some of the things they use to make their nests are cobwebs or spider webs, really thick plant fiber, as well as plant down. So like the fluff you see from milkweed are common materials that they use to weave this beautiful nest together. And it makes kind of this downy little cup shape, and they usually will be found on branches kind of forked like this right here. So be looking in our trees come July and August for these. The males are the bright yellow ones that you see in the summer. The females are a little bit more drab, kind of yellow, kind of brown color. Right now, this time of year, the males are starting to turn color, but right now they're still pretty drab looking too. So this is the American goldfinch right here, guys. So this is its nest, and this is the male of the two species, of the two. So they're really an awesome bird. Like I said, Iowa state bird, always a good fact to know. So my next bird, that is really amazing and great. They don't actually live here year round. They make a pendulum shape nest. Why do you think it's called a pendulum? So when this bird makes this nest, it can sometimes hang down off of a branch. This one's not, I'm holding it upside down, so sorry. As you can see, so this is the top right here, the eggs go in here. And they make their nests out of really interesting materials. Just in this nest right here, I see a lot of fine grasses, but I also see red string. I think this might be a fishing line if I had to guess. There's even a fishing hook in here. So that's kind of a good reminder for our fishermen. If you could, pick up, sometimes I know things get caught in trees, but try and remember to pick these things up. But it's really interesting because there is a fishing hook right here attached to the fishing line. So this bird that we're going to talk about, like I said, it doesn't live here year round. This is a Baltimore oriole, and that's that beautiful orange that we love to see coming in late April and early May. So be on the lookout with spring coming maybe slightly earlier. However, there's supposed to be a snowstorm. They may be here earlier, but usually late May late April and early May is when you're going to see a Baltimore oriole. They actually belong to the blackbird family, so some of those birds that some people may not find as charismatic as its friend the oriole, the cowbirds, the grackles, the blackbirds, they're all part of the same family actually. So remember that when you see a cowbird out and about or a grackle, everyone has its purpose. So the adult male is usually the one that's the brilliant orange color like you see here. However, sometimes adult females will have that orange coloring as well, but mostly this brilliant orange is reserved for the male. And this guy is an insect forager, so they eat insects, and that's pretty much all they eat. So you will see them flitting around the trees and things getting insects. They lay 3 to 6 eggs typically, and they incubate them for 12 to 14 days. And the nest, like I showed you, is typically built by the female. However, maybe the male will help occasionally. And like I said, they're really tightly woven nests, as you can see here. Kylie and I are practicing social distancing right now, so we can't get those really close up things, but it's really good to be responsible so we can all stay healthy and make these cool videos. But so I'm just hold it as close as I can. As you can see, it's really tightly woven. This one's really quite interesting. You see this red thread through here, grasses, you see some feathers as well, and they just kind of nicely hang off of tree branches, so they kind of get the name a pendulum shape because they can be found kind of swinging in the wind a little bit. So this is a Baltimore oriole nest. Let's see here. Oh, one of our favorite birds. We have a lot of bluebird nests on the property. So if you come here any time of the year, you will see our bluebird nests. Now some of them, they're not all resident bluebirds in them, unfortunately, but bluebirds, these guys right here, so the male is the bright blue and the female is kind of this muted blue color. They enjoy making really kind of loose, kind of cup-shaped nests. Now this one is in a basket right now because otherwise it would fall apart. They're not very good at making a tight weave like these two previous nests we've seen, so it would probably fall apart if I were to take it out of the basket right here. But the things they like to use in their nests are grasses and twigs, and sometimes animal hair, sometimes different feathers. This one, as you can see, has a lot of different feathers that don't really belong to a bluebird in it, so they're very resourceful in that matter. I think this might be some sort of fur. It also might be some sort of plant fiber here. I'm not really sure. Nature is a wonderful thing. As you can see, it's just kind of loose and cup shape, and you can find these in tree hollows a lot of times that woodpeckers maybe have dug into. But a lot of times parks and things like that have taken to putting bluebird houses in, which aren't always just meant for a bluebird. Sometimes our other bird friends like to take them over, but that's okay. It's good to be a sharer. So, like I said, this is a bluebird, and I'm going to show you a picture one more time. So we said a male bluebird is usually that bright blue one you see, and the female is right here. So in these, if you ever look in a bluebird house that is taken over by eastern bluebirds, find them with 4 to 5 eggs in them typically. Maybe a little less, maybe a little more, but yeah, so that's the eastern bluebird. Our next one is kind of, I don't want to say a boring bird because everything has its purpose, but I'm a Wisconsin girl, and it's actually Wisconsin's state bird. It's the American robin. Now these are found everywhere. They're just starting to migrate back right now. We have quite a few around right now, which is very exciting, kind of the first sign of spring. And I really do enjoy them. They are a fun bird to watch, especially when they're foraging for earthworms. They also enjoy other insects, berries. Sometimes they're even known to eat some snails here and there, so they have a pretty diverse diet. And their eggs are usually about this size right here, and they're usually this beautiful kind of tealy blue color, and usually you can find 3 or 4 eggs in a nest during the spring of the year. They are known to nest on bridges and near buildings and on barns and things of that nature. We had one living right above the nature center door for a while, and we waited until the young were gone before we got rid of that. But they make a really hardy, really hard nest. This is made of grass and also made of mud. They also are a cup-shaped nest. However, unlike our bluebird friend, they make a really tightly woven nest that's really hardy. You can also find them in trees, kind of like this, where the tree branches come together. And so they're kind of fun to see. Getting things kind of messy, but like I said, it's mostly made of mud and grasses and plant fibers. And it's a really quite a hardy nest, I'd say. It's really, you guys can't feel it but you know, I'm pushing on it pretty hard and it's not going to break. So they really take the time to form everything together, weave it together, and use that mud. So it's kind of a fun nest. And then I have one down here. I wasn't going to show it to you, but I just can't resist the cuteness of these guys right here. So these, let's see if I can take the cap. Nope. Ooh, I can take the cap off. Sometimes they breed-proof things at the nature center. Not this time though. This is a hummingbird nest, and it is so tiny. It's also the cup shape, so they, you know, have the same shape nest, except it's so tiny. And this is made out of plant fiber. If looking in here, it looks like they might have used milkweed fiber, some lichen. There's a little leaf here, and it's just an absolutely adorable petite little nest. This is super hard to find in nature. I've never found one in nature personally, but keep your eyes out, and hopefully this spring and summer you can find something so adorable. I want you guys to know I'm very thankful you've been joining me, and I'm excited to keep teaching you as long as you're willing to learn. So keep coming back and we'll keep having some exciting things for you to learn. Thank you and have a great day.